Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network, where tonight the stars and cars of the Sim Racers Club are coming to you from the brand new Atlanta Motor Speedway. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth by Mr. Patrick Byrne. As always, Bizzle, this race is, I think, going to be really interesting to watch here. We've got a handful of cars out on the racetrack, actually more than a handful. But this new Atlanta is packed up tight and really, really fast.
Yeah, this new Atlanta is basically Daytona's little brother. These cars are flat out around here. They're pack racing around. It feels like a short track the way they're racing around here because it's so much smaller than the super speedways. I was just screwing around here in the Gen 4 cars, and I couldn't believe just how stuck the cars were to this new asphalt.
Yeah, I was actually doing some laps earlier today as well, and it was crazy how fast you could get around this place. The drivers were talking a little bit in the pre-race about the fact that in traffic, the car definitely wanted to push a little bit, and holding the low line required at least a little bit of breathing the throttle. That's not the same experience that I had, as we see Johnny Avila coming around working on his qualification lap number 2 for Avila, and he goes quick time 31.274 seconds, 174.525 miles per hour. Also out on the racetrack is Tom Wilhite. Tyler Seville goes new quick lap, 174.525. Is that an identical lap time at the front? No, it is not, but it's very close. Wilhite, good second lap though. 31.283 seconds. Let's pick up Hunter Waters in the number 7. He's just finishing up his qualifying run. Here's Richard Fletcher in car number 43. United States Air Force colors on the side of that one here this evening. Already 11 cars timed in for qualifications. We have another 6 to go.
Yeah, it's not unusual for these guys to all be, for the most part, everyone qualified in the first 3 minutes of qualifications. Usually, some drivers wait, see what the field is doing, kind of test the temperature of the water, and then go out and set their fast laps.
Yeah, in fact, let's take a look and pick up, let's see, getting all the buttons squared away here. Let's pick up Richard Fletcher, who's out on the racetrack as well. I'm sorry, that's Andrew Moore Jr. in the Weiss Markets number 77. He is working lap number 1, as Fletcher is working lap 2.
Is sponsored by that driver you see in the lower right-hand corner. Andrew Moore Jr. sponsoring this one here in Atlanta.
Yeah, actually, let's fade him out, bring him up full screen, and give you the good look there at that 77. Oh, little kiss of the wall. If it was worth a 0x, it will invalidate the lap. Justin Rideout going new quick time. 174.528 miles per hour, 31.274 seconds. Andrew Moore's qualification run is over. How about this? Big lap for this car still out on the racetrack. John Muller coming down pit lane. He is going to be 7th quick, 31.345. He's only about 3/4 of a second off of the quick time overall for the session. Also out on the speedway is Tony Patton. Pick him up off of turn number 2. He has not yet turned a full lap here. He is on the out lap. Also have Braden Carroll on the racetrack. So we'll bring both of these up in the side-by-side. It'll be only Will Worsler, who in pre-race was saying not only did he not want to run tonight, but he definitely didn't want to qualify.
Yeah, and I don't blame him for not wanting to qualify, especially with how close these guys are going to be racing here. Sitting at the back of the pack might not be the worst idea. Just wait it out, let the whole field wreck themselves, and then work your way up to the front past all the damaged race cars.
Yeah, let the mess happen in front of you, and then you get to hang out and have your fun late in the show.
Just gotta hope you're quick enough on the brakes.
That is correct. These cars do not want to slow down quickly. Excuse me. And as those wrecks develop, sometimes you don't have a ton of time if you want to be the guy who's jumping on the binders running at the back.
No, it's just like rubbernecking on the highway. You know, maybe the incident happens, first car gets to slow down, second car gets to slow down. But by the time you get to the third, fourth, fifth car, somebody's getting rear-ended.
Let's take a look here. There we go. Got Racer Seth coming in on the comments section, and he's saying he can't wait for this one here tonight. We're looking forward to it. I was running against the AI cars, so you had some that were really fast, you had some that were really slow, and then you sort of had everybody else that was in between, including myself. That's something I think we're going to see similar here tonight, with the exception that everybody is a little bit closer towards the front of the field.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one where the whole front of the field and pretty much the whole field is going to be close together. Really, I don't see them being able to get single file, at least for the first probably stage. They're going to be double file racing. There's only 30 laps to the first stage end.
Yeah, and that's, well, we're actually just getting the word here from Race Control. We'll show the message. Lap 30 will have a caution. Lap 65 will not have a caution. And then you're only about halfway through. I believe this one, 117 laps in distance tonight. There's Will Worsler at the end of pit lane, 34.818 seconds for Will. Only car possibly left to qualify is Richard Smith II. So we'll follow along there and see what could possibly come from Richard Smith II and if he will be qualifying here. Down to 2 minutes left in the qualification session. Let's tell you a little bit about the racetrack and the race cars here tonight. Located in Hampton, Georgia, the newly reconfigured Atlanta Motor Speedway. 28 degrees of banking in the corners, the steepest of any 1.5 mile racetrack. Martin Truex Jr. holds the real-world track record on this configuration, 187.735 miles per hour. These guys, I don't think they're going to approach that in the race, but that was definitely a draft-aided lap for Truex. These cars manufactured by Technique Chassis, all of them. The Chevys, the Fords, the Toyotas, all three manufactured by Technique. We saw some controversy over hood louvers from the Hendrick Motorsports teams. A lot of these cars are now single supplier parts manufacturers. You basically have to buy from one spot, making 670 horsepower. So about 0.191 horsepower per pound. Interesting.
Yeah, tonight,
go ahead.
They have the power of these things choked out. I think they're either just above or just under 400 horsepower. So not a lot of ponies under the hoods of these things tonight, push them around the speedway.
Yeah, not a ton to work with, and at least they have the tapered spacer, not the restrictor plate. The tapered spacer at least allows you to manipulate the throttle a little, as opposed to the old way of having to drag the brakes. But the other interesting thing I'm seeing here, Patrick, the weather conditions, 78-degree ambient temperature, 105-degree track temp. Could we see tire wear come into play? In the real world, it was a big, big factor. I don't know that it's going to be as big of a deal this time around, though.
I don't believe it's going to be a huge deal here in iRacing, just because our tracks aren't exposed to the weather every single day. Our tracks aren't wearing, so this is the scan from right after they repaved this facility, where in the real world they added whatever they did. I don't know if they were brining the track each day or what, but to try and wear in the surface. So we do not have that. We still have the new, freshly repaved version of this racetrack.
Yeah, let's take a look quickly at the point standings heading into tonight's race. Well, okay, guess it doesn't want to give us any point standings, but we can at least tell you
Clean
who is
slate
leading.
for everyone.
Yeah, not quite. Kevin Dick, your points leader by 2 over Johnny Avila. 13 points back of the points leader is Hunter Waters. Tyler Seville, Andrew Moore Jr., the top 5. Of note, 4 races this season, 4 different winners. Richard Fletcher getting the win at Daytona, AJ Digby picking up the win at Auto Club, Johnny Avila and Kevin Dick winning the last 2 races. Off week last week, are we going to go 5 for 5 here in new winners?
I sure hope so, and if there's any track that's going to do it, it's going to be this one. This is one of those tracks where anybody can win. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if we don't get a new winner, and we might see a guy like Richard Fletcher come out and grab 2 in the season.
Possibly, especially if Fletcher does what he did at Daytona and have that car there at the end ready to go. Braden Carroll picking up the pole for tonight's race. 174.548 miles per hour. Only 4 1/1000ths of a second back will be the number 8 of Justin Rideout. Row number 2 will have Tyler Seville lining up alongside Thomas Wilhite. Still looking for 2 100ths of a second outside the first 2 rows. There you're going to find it in the 5th position. That's Johnny Avila. He will line up alongside the number 28 of Troy Haight. Row 4 tonight will have Andrew Moore Jr. Thank you very much, Andrew, for your sponsorship of tonight's race. He's lining up alongside John Moeller. Row number 5, Tim Knott and your points leader, Kevin Dick. Gunskins on the side of the 41, custom paints and die casts all over that number 52 Chevrolet. Row number 6 will have Lee Campbell lining up alongside Tony Patton. Row 7, Daniel Pinkston and J.D. Wardlow. Row number 8, A.J. Digby and Richard Fletcher. On row 9, it will be Hunter Waters and Will Worsler. All alone on row number 10 will be the 23 of Richard Smith II. On your graphics tonight, you will see the name of Jordan Barry, one of the series and race administrators, race officials, entering into the session as a driver. So his name is going to appear last in all of the graphics here this evening. Field making their way through turns 3 and 4 on the formation lap, the pace lap, whatever we want to call it. Wild, woolly 114 laps here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Get ready, man. We are going green, and as always, race fans, the start of this one going to be all yours. Towards the back of the pack, they're getting single file. Not so at the front. Braden Carroll going to lead lap number 1. Here comes Tyler Seville. Big old shove from Johnny Avila into 1. They'll take the head of the field.
Getting the bump direction done, but these straightaways aren't nearly as long, so you really have to get the runs out of the corners if you want to get the bump done. And I don't know how well it's going to work in the corners.
It's going to be at least a little bit testy early on here. Side-by-side battle between Tim Knott and Andrew Moore Jr. Daniel Pinkston already up over 182 miles per hour. These guys are about a second and a half faster than what they did in qualifications. Does the fact that the stage brake caution is coming at lap number 30 change how you approach the race at all, Patrick, from the driver's seat? Because to me, ordinarily these races run from the the kind of thought process of I need to be there at the end. But with the points battle as tight as it is, Kevin Dick kind of has to feel like he needs to move. He's up to the 11th position, but he needs those playoff points. Every one of those is going to matter come late season.
Yeah, there's 10 championship points on the line for winning the stage. That's a ton of points, especially you have those in the first stage and the second stage. So that's 20 points you're leaving right on the board right there. That's half a win in those stages. So absolutely you need to get up there and go and at least try and steal some of the stage points. Because if a guy like Kevin Dick or Johnny Miller goes out there and they win the first stage, second stage, and the race, that's a huge lead over the rest of the field.
Man, it is crazy watching these guys. Absolutely no lift almost anywhere. In fact, let's take a look and go on board here with Kevin Dick. I mean, you're not hearing any sort of a breathe on the throttle, maybe just a tiny little bit to set the car at corner entry. But
yeah, I think these guys are still just have to embrace those gaps, especially here in Atlanta. You really don't want to get run over. This track, there's no big basic to do. It's much better than this one. Nice quick dragging brakes. Back off the start.
at the front of the line, Tyler Seville leading Johnny Avila, that 63 machine right up under the bumper of the Chubby's number 11. And maybe something you can illustrate for us here, Patrick. Through the corner, you're seeing a little bit of space between Johnny Avila and Tyler Seville. Down the straightaway, it's almost like Seville's dragging the brake a hair at corner exit, and Avila's just getting right up underneath him.
Yeah, I found that. I don't remember what I was driving or where I was driving it, but that seems to be faster than both cars holding it wide open. If that lead car just taps the brakes and lets those cars get locked up, it is way faster.
Oh, buddy, hold on to it. Tim Knott having a wild ride into turn number one. He's going to be up against the outside wall.
I don't believe he touched it. I believe he got damn close, but I don't believe he touched it.
Show you the spotlight box here on Tim Knott. Ran as high as 5th just a couple of laps ago before that contact with the outside wall. Now back to the 11th position, which is the lowest he's run in this race. Alongside Tony Patton. Also have the 28 of Troy Haight. That car doing a little bit of blinking there. Got to make Kevin Dick nervous. You're in a plate track, you're trying to bump draft, and all of a sudden the guy in front of you just disappears.
Must have been one hell of a strong bump drive.
To the moon and back at about 100 feet.
Yeah, that's definitely scary, but if it's only one or two things just right at the beginning of the race, I don't think it's something you completely have to worry about. It could just be a little hiccup from the ISP. Now, if it's constant throughout the whole length of the race, it can definitely get incredibly frustrating.
As always, have to say a huge thank you to the folks that make these broadcasts and the entire Sim Racers Club Sim Speed Shop Premier Series happen, including our friends, well, first and foremost, Andrew Moore Jr. picking up the sponsorship on the race here this evening. Presenting sponsor of the league is the Sim Speed Shop. You can check them out at simspeedshop.com. Northland Leisure putting up some cash for the stage winners here this evening. first of those awards coming up in 16, 17 laps or so. You can find them on Facebook at Northland Leisure. Realty Executive Saskatoon handling the awards for the fastest lap of the race. That currently belongs to Tony Patton, 185.570 miles per hour. Custom Paints and Diecasts also putting up the awards for the Hard Charger and the Biggest Loser of the night. Thank you to all the sponsors who help make these Sim Speed Shop Premier Series races happen. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube or on Twitch, give us a shout in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. If you would like to support the broadcast, we do have the super chats and that kind of stuff down there. All sorts of new things coming to the National Racing Network broadcast. It's a terrible idea, but we gave Patrick a telestrator. He has the ability to draw on the screen now.
Yeah, I could just kind of circle leaders right down here.
Well, it helps. I was going to say, it helps if I have your telestrator turned on here. Let's see. There you are. Now you can draw on the screen.
Yeah, I can.
See, there you go.
See exactly what lap it is. Bunch of cool stuff going on here now.
Yeah, we are always trying to do more for you, the viewer. That's why we do this, quite frankly. Everything that we're doing out here, we're doing for you guys.
It's fun for us too. It's fun for everyone.
It's fun for everyone. I guess, thought process is, if you guys are not enjoying the show, what are we doing this for? So let us know what you're thinking here down in the comments.
Got a three-way draft train going up towards the front, and looking like a bunch of squirrels out there.
Yeah, Tyler Seville slides up a little bit just to pick up the front bumper of Johnny Avila off of turn number 4. Braden Carroll doing a nice job holding on to these three. Justin Rideout in the 4th position. This one's kind of interesting. Sitting about 4 or 5 car lengths back off that front 3 cars. As we are under caution, yellow flag is on the racetrack. I don't see a reason for the caution. Let's take a look. I think we found it. Let's back things up here. And Patrick, this is really where it starts to get a little bit interesting, because when do you decide to come down now with 10 laps left in the stage, knowing that you're going to get a break here in just a moment?
If you're towards the back of the pack, maybe not in stage point grabbing territory, absolutely I might come down there, throw a splash of fuel in the car, fill the tank, I guess, this early in the race. But if you are there in the top 10, absolutely not. I want to go out there. We're going to have about a 5-6 lap dash to that stage break. I definitely want to keep my nose still in that fight.
Well, let's take a look at the hot shoe race where well, let's see, maybe not. Tyler Seville coming down pit lane. That's interesting.
I was not expecting that. Maybe he knows he's going to miss a bunch of races later on in the season. Maybe he's got vacation planned for the summer and knows I'm not in it for the points. I'm just in this for race wins.
Very well could be, but he's going to hit his marks.
And you can see he slowed down a little bit too early. He almost stopped halfway between the 19 box and his box. So that's going to cost him a little bit of time. Let's see how much time he loses on his stop.
Well, and interesting here, Seville not taking tires. Looks like, actually, is there either a penalty? Let's see.
Or I wonder if he's having a hardware issue and decided while we're under caution, get that sorted out, get that fixed.
I think that was a damage stop. 30.57 seconds. It wasn't long enough to be a penalty. That is interesting. Let's take a look here at the reason for the caution flag, by the way. This incident occurring off of turn number 4. 48 of J.D. Wardlow slides up, makes contact. Oh, man, Will Worsler also just pounds the outside wall.
Yeah, you could see he came up and got right in that fender of Will Worsler and just kind of turned himself right over it.
Yeah, that was
dragged both of them into the wall.
Yeah, that was a hard hit for both of those cars. Let's see if we can't, since we're going to have one more lap until we go green, let's see if we can't chat with Tyler Seville here, who's interesting call, Tyler. You're coming down the pit here under this first caution. Was that a hardware issue, a damage thing with the car? What was going on there?
It was, I think stuff is about to get crazy, and I don't want to be anywhere near it.
So it was a strategy call to put yourself in the back.
Yeah, I think here coming to the first stage, I think people are going to be going anywhere they can to try to get some position. So I'm going to hang back here, try to keep it on the bottom, and just take what it can give me.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you checking in with us here. That was Tyler Seville.
It's a bold move, Captain. Let's see how it plays out.
You know what? Take a full tank of fuel, sit there on pit road. Don't try to hustle yourself out. It's not the worst idea we've heard. Especially if you think it's going to get ugly. And what's really interesting here, Patrick, is with the choose rule in effect, we have drivers that have elected to start on the outside. Almost everybody at the front of the field starting inside, except for Andrew Moore Jr. and Kevin Dick. These guys were towards the back of the lead pack when the caution came out. Now they're going to be right up in the first two rows, but they're doing it on the outside.
Yeah, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Especially if those three up there get themselves linked together real well, they can definitely fight back against this bottom row. Not if they sleep on the restart like that.
I was just going to say, if Johnny Avila is going to absolutely skunk you on the restart, you could be in trouble. Look out. Let's see what we got back here. The 77 or more finally up to speed.
Quick and early, making his way up to the fourth position, going, I'll stay there. The fourth on the inside line.
Yeah, this is where the two cars on the outside, they made up some ground through just selecting the outside lane, but they're going to have to get down to the inside if they want to get up to the front here. Already working their way back to 5th and 7th as Daniel Pinkston is looking inside of Kevin Dick. You made up the ground.
Moore needs to make up his mind. He keeps bouncing around, blocking off that low line. What he needs to do is get down there and try and catch up to these top four, because fighting around like this, like you're the leader when you're in 5th, ain't going to get you the lead.
No, I think it's going to get you enough that they can get down to the bottom of the racetrack, though. Although these guys look like they want to run the high side.
Save him some tires.
I'll tell you what, if you were 11th when the caution flew and now you're 5th, a couple of laps into the restart run, the strategy call worked out for you.
They're getting very feisty up there. 22 and Daniel Pinkston going to try and shoot. He gets by Kevin Dick, slides up right in front of him.
That was tight. Interesting little fade fake there by Hunter Waters. In a Hunter's Fried, hold on. This is an absolutely beautiful way of integrating your sim sponsors with a real world race car. That's the old Tabasco colors that we saw in the Cup Series. Nice spec map work on the numbers there also. But it's Hunter's Fried Pickles on the car. I love it. It's beautiful. All right, back to actually talking racing here.
You know, fried pickles and Tabasco sounds like it would go really, really well together.
Yes, it would. It's almost like a buffalo fried pickle.
He's got teammate Daniel Pinkston behind him now, so I guess it'll work out his job, but don't know if I keep wanting to fade like that. You know, only 2-3 laps left to get on the stage. I might just want to settle before.
Yeah, it's bringing.
He's just pushing high.
It's bringing Daniel Pinkston into the party, and in fact, Pinkston's going to have a look inside of Waters down the front straightaway. The top 3 are single file. Everybody else 2 by 2. We are seeing play out what Tyler Seville thought was going to happen. Everybody's bouncing around all over the place. They just haven't wadded them up yet. Knocking on wood, of course.
I don't know. Another lap left to go on the stage.
This is the final lap of stage number 1.
Oh, and there it is.
Contact Waters up into the outside wall. We stay under green for now. Off at turn number 4, green and white checkered flag is in the air, and Johnny Avila will pick up the win in stage number 1. When 10th place gets over the start-finish line, now the caution flag will come out. And there is Johnny Avila, your Northland Leisure Stage winner. Here's where I like the call that Tyler Seville made. He's going to have the opportunity now to choose whether he wants to pit. It was only about 6 laps of green flag running. He can cycle himself right back through to the front of the field.
Yeah, I don't think it was a necessarily bad call. I just, with how they did correct, maybe early. Oh, yes, but I just with what you're saying, he did take fuel under the pit stop. So, yeah, he's going to cycle past all these guys and get himself right back up to the front.
Yeah, you're only talking a 5 or 6 lap difference as your race leaders making their way down pit lane. We'll follow race leader Johnny Avila. As they hit their boxes, those numbers will start to go up. With only 2 sets of tires here, Patrick, do you take tires now or do you wait and use them later in the race? Looks like we got our answer out of Johnny Avila. That car is not up on the jacks.
Tyler Seville coming into the pit, so yeah, confusing me now. Maybe he wants to stay in the back again. Yeah, I definitely don't think you need tires just yet. This is still, gotta remember, this is new asphalt. So it's not that abrasive. With the plate package, they're not at their full horsepower. You really don't need that super fresh rubber.
Yeah, that's something that I'm interested to see if iRacing decides to develop where they just work on manipulating the parameters of the racetrack. You don't necessarily need to rescan it, per se, as much as it is just tweaking the parameters that determine grip. Correct.
Familiar with NR 2003.
Yeah, you basically, now obviously it is significantly more complicated than those old files were, but it's kind of just changing the numbers and saying, hey, we're going to chew this place up a little bit, put it out there to the alpha and the beta testers and let them see what they think, and our real world drivers that turned laps here just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I would think you'd want to rescan it though, just because it's going to develop new ruts and new bumps, and I think that is more the issue now, especially with all those patches they've had to put into the track versus just the abrasion level of the surface.
That's true. The Cup Series drivers were talking a lot about how much the surface had degraded over just 1 or 2 winters. Possibly even to the point of having to repave this place in just a handful of years.
Yeah, and that is going to be expensive for the track, and maybe next time they repave it, they won't try and ruin it so quickly. Like buying a new car and keying up all the sides of it, because it's going to happen eventually.
Yeah, I don't know that they were trying to break it in per se. I think it's just the asphalt mix. Just because the roadway is, you repaved in 97 and you say, we're going to use the same asphalt mix. It's not the same asphalt mix, and it's a different configuration. The loads that the cars put on 28 degrees of banking at full throttle with ground effect cars versus those cars they ran in 97. That's a big difference.
Yeah, I thought I read somewhere that they were applying some sort of treatment to the track during all the off-weeks to try and artificially age it.
That's dumb.
It's like
PJ1. Back to green flag racing here for the start of stage number 2. Again, the stage break coming at lap number 65, and there will not be a caution associated with that.
So yeah, the next caution flag we see will be because of a car in the wall, car in the grass, or maybe we see the white flag next instead of caution flag.
Yeah, we're not quite to next flag ends it territory. Oh man, car's bouncing off the wall here. A little bit further back in the pack. That was the 43 of Richard Fletcher making contact with the safer barrier. And all these guys are now single file down on the inside. Both Fletcher and Troy Haight at the top side of the racetrack. They are going to have to get working on getting down to the inside. Lee Campbell in the 4 making his way up to the top side of the racetrack as well. Not really missing anything at the front.
Yeah, at the front, these guys are kind of calm right now. They know they've got another 30 laps or so.
Oh, Tim Knott sliding. Let's slide back and see. We do stay under green. That car looks clean.
What happened to him?
Well, we're going to take a look at that here in just a moment. But first, here we go. Let's bring up the, let's see. Gonna do it this way. And we'll get you a look back at the front of the field. Oh, just a little bit of a push, a little bit of contact. Yeah, but he caught it. There was no damage done there to the machine of Tim Knott, so. The first side-by-side battle is going to be between Kevin Dick and Daniel Pinkston. The battle for the 6th position. And Tim Knott now running all by himself at the back of the field. About a worst-case scenario, because with the draft times these guys are running at the front, he is going to go a lap down here pretty quickly.
He's basically sitting back there hoping, praying that some of these cars get a little mangled when the caution comes out against the because that is his only hope.
Getting word from race control, the first caution flag of the night, the incident between J.D. Wardlow and Will Worsler. The 48 claimed that incident, so he took the EOL penalty on the restart. Caution flag number 2 does not have a claimant, as it was for the stage break.
Well, I believe the series admins.
That is correct. They will get themselves a racecraft penalty. JD Wardlow, the only car off the speedway right now, is currently in the 18th position, 24 laps behind your race leaders. Following along here with Kevin Dick, not necessarily going the wrong direction, but not making up any ground on the outside. I have to think, though, at least a little bit, you're doing a tiny bit less damage every corner to those Goodyear Racing Eagles. Maybe late in the run it becomes a factor.
Especially just with the confidence level of the drivers, just him being able to make a risky move, not have to worry about the car coming out from underneath.
Daniel Pinkston clips the apron ever so slightly through 3 and 4. Now it's going to be Tom Wilhite inside of Kevin. Man, I'll tell you what though, it's like these guys get just the tiniest sniff of draft air at the front, and all of a sudden they are making a move. Justin Rideout moving up to the outside lane. He's alongside AJ Digby. That outside lane really working some momentum now, but God, are they swirling down the back stretch.
Yeah, this is kind of a scary one, and I don't know, there's still some mixed opinions about bringing plate racing to a mile and a half, and that's kind of part of it. It's so tight. I don't believe the fastest cars were ever designed to go around this racetrack.
Yeah, unpleasant at best. Tyler Seville worked his way up to the 3rd position, but now Rideout's alongside. I can remember watching qualifying on the original ESPN2 with the absolutely cheesiest 90s graphics package ever. As Rideout right up underneath of Braden Carroll, he's going to move inside once a piece of the front of the field. But I can remember that day in 1997 when Jeff Bodine, at the originally reconfigured quad oval but 24 degrees of banking in the corners, turned a lap at 197 miles per hour. It was terrifying how fast these cars were going in single car in qualifying. And the race was absolute garbage because of it. They were just so planted that nobody could move out of line and make a pass. It was a 3.5 hour long freight train at 195 miles an hour.
That changed. Fantastic.
They were. The NTT IndyCar Series, well, it was at the time the IRL Series. Yes, they did. The Atlanta 500 Classic was the original. It ran 1998, Kenny Brack picking up the win. 1999, Scott Sharp for Kelly Racing. And 2000, 2001, Greg Ray getting the wins for Team Menard. That 2001 race, let's see. I remember this one being, yeah, here we go. Race was held April 28th. Greg Ray won the pole. A huge 11-car pileup occurred on lap 54. sending Dr. Jack Miller to the hospital with a concussion in what would be his final race.
So I guess the track is not too bad.
A little bit. The track record.
Hang on, we're almost at lap 54 of this race.
Yeah.
I wonder if history will repeat
Let me see. 24.732 seconds for Billy Bode. So that works out to a speed of 224.163 miles per hour for the average.
Just incredibly fast. 10 miles an hour faster, and they're reaching arc speeds in Texas. They couldn't run because the drivers were experiencing NASA levels of G-force.
Yes, they were. Well, they were basically doing more than fighter pilots, and they were starting to gray out in the cockpit of the race cars.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen those centrifuges they put the NASA pilots and the Air Force pilots in. They spin around real fast. Those forces that they simulate there were basically what the IndyCar drivers are doing, or the Champ Car drivers are doing.
Yes.
240 miles an hour in a tiny little, not very safe monocoque.
I believe it was Tony Kanaan that won the pole for that race.
Solutions they had to try and run the race too. So just put a chicane on the next. That'll work.
It was just.
Before you slam on the brakes.
It was just dumb. Kenny Brack was the pole sitter for that race. Average speed of 233.447 miles per hour.
And that's with slowing down from the corners. They were slowing down from the corners. They were going
Yes.
260 down the straightaways.
Yeah.
Absolutely absurd.
Let's go back here to the Sim Racers Club action going on the racetrack here as they are coming around the lap car of Tim Nye. 3 leaders, 2 lead changes, couple of cautions for 5 laps in total. Tony Patton owning the Realty Executives Saskatoon fastest lap of the race, 185.570 miles per hour. Approaching the end of stage number 2. Now again, we will not have a caution flag here at the conclusion of this stage. The numbers that we were seeing was approximately 55 laps is what the drivers were telling us in the pre-race. We're working lap number 26 of the stint, so about halfway through.
So about lap 85 is as far as these guys are going to be able to get.
Yeah, I think that's the number. If you get to lap number 59, you can make it on one more stop. Here we are at lap 59, so this will be a 2-stop race unless we get a late caution flag.
If we get 6 late caution flags, absolutely.
Well, no, because if you can go 55 laps, you can make it from here.
Yeah, that would still be a 2-stop race.
Yeah, we've already had one. One more stop.
Gotcha.
Get out
you were
the...
saying they can make it a 1-stop race. Like, run the whole rest of the race under caution.
Okay, get the telestrator out here and write a number 1 up on the screen. +1. That's how many stops they're going to have to make today. Yes. In the world of Bizzle math, that is exactly right.
Yeah, I understand now. I comprehend.
If you're a driver in the Fast Masters series, you'll understand why points aren't done yet.
They are. I just don't know what the numbers are. Yes. Everyone's a winner, and we use the whose line is it anyway point scoring format.
Whoever claims it gets the win.
The rules are made up, and the points don't matter.
Sounds about right. Coming around to 2 to go here in stage number 2. Tyler Seville wanted no parts of the end of stage 1. Laying back about two and a half car lengths off the back bumper of Justin Rideout. If this were Daytona or Talladega, I would say Seville's in a really good spot because you just wait till you feel that energy build up and it's go time. But here in Atlanta, it's not the same type of build up energy and let it fly.
Yeah, in Atlanta, you have to be a lot more opportunistic. If a door is slightly open, you have to force it the rest of the way open and kind of shove yourself in there. Where Daytona, Talladega, you can kind of sit back, watch that door, wait for a great point, and sprint through it. But here, you have to kind of
Oh, it's the final lap of stage number 2, and it is Johnny Avila again leading the field, looking to claim all 20 bonus points on offer here tonight. Off at turn 4, green and white checkered flag is in the air, and Johnny Avila claims Northland Leisure stage number 2. This is one of my favorite parts in every Sim Racers Club race. Now it's like, okay, stage 1's over, stage 2's over, we're done talking about them. Now it's go time. The race is really on from here. And you have, it's almost like you're running the Fast Masters format. A heat race, a consi, and now it's feature time. Now we're really going to get it on.
Yeah, except now you're still 67 lap race or so. So we're only slightly past that. You have to kind of reset and get yourself in your head that this is another full-length race.
Man, I'll tell you what, Braden Carroll right up underneath the Johnny Avila all the way through turns 1 and 2. Not necessarily pushing, but he's only leaving maybe a foot or 2 throughout the corner. Peeks the right side of the nose out, gets himself some clean air into the front end of that car to keep it cool. And then just right back in.
Up there. There's a shot.
First side-by-side of the race is going to be Daniel Pinkston and Kevin Dick. This is the fight for Pinkston and Dick running 6th and 7th on the racetrack right now. The 41 of Tim Knott is a lap down in the 16th position, but he's in position to get the lucky dog.
To be, but not in the worst spot either. So right now, just sitting back and waiting.
Well, and we've talked about this. When you're passing a lap car, you just want them to be consistent. Just hold your line, run your race, we'll get past you. That's exactly what you're seeing Tim Knott doing here. The last thing these guys want to see is Tim Knott trying to dive out of the way somewhere. And all of a sudden, he's causing problems because now he is in the way.
Kind of like that, they're going to try and split him through the middle. Not what you want to be doing. I see. That one took me a second.
let things fester. He will figure out his own terrible jokes on his own if I just leave him enough time.
I don't even mean to make them, they just come out. I'm a very punny person.
Yes, you are.
I'm not nearly as bad as
No. John Moeller is on the racetrack, now in the 17th position. Looks like he may be out of this race. J.D. Wardlow, though, is back on the racetrack. Interesting that these cars are just not able to get around Tim Nod. Even the ones that are towards the back of the field. I mean, that 41 machine does have, at least we think, some damage.
I don't think it does.
Yeah, no, actually, he just kind of spun a little bit.
Smith, he just Pastrana down the front stretch.
Yes. Is it this weekend or next weekend? The Freedom 500 down at the Freedom Factory. Travis Pastrana finally getting to drive in that race after being in the last couple of years.
Instead of sitting in the booth.
That is correct. Also, Ken Block's daughter, Leah, will be driving in that race. So get you back to the head of the field here as we work lap number 77 of 114. Johnny Avila, still your race leader. He has been in command at the front of the field. What's really interesting to me, Patrick, is we have not seen anybody really try to make a big challenge for the lead here. They are content to log a ton of laps, get through that last pit stop, which is going to be tricky, to the point that NASCAR for this season mandated cars enter pit lane off of turn number 3. That's not the case here in the Sim Racers Club. Unless they put a house rule in, the pit entry and commitment line is basically at the start of pit road. You're going to have to go from 180 miles an hour to, whoa, in a really tricky spot.
If they put a house rule in where you got to come below that line down the backstretch, the pit road speed limit still doesn't start until the front stretch, until that yellow cone. Where in the rear world, they had cars at pit road speed limit into turn 3, which is incredibly, gruelingly long.
Yeah, not to mention incredibly dangerous. I guess it's a lesser of two evils thing, but a big wreck into turn 3 is now hitting cars going significantly slower on the apron of the racetrack. That is a huge energy transfer.
But they are down there under the apron, and physics say once you lose all traction, you're going to continue on the straight. You're going to go towards that outside wall, so by the time a car below that line gets hit, it's already rebounded off the outside wall. They've had the brakes locked, and it's not going to be nearly as hard of a hit as getting rear-ended by a car doing 100 miles an hour faster.
John Moeller, lap car, bouncing his number 83 machine off the outside safer barrier. Very, very slow through turns 1 and 2. In fact, he's up into the wall again. That car started blinking as soon as the race leaders got to him. Tell you what, things may be starting to get a little bit heated here as Justin Rideout is on the top side of the racetrack. It's interesting watching AJ Digby. He kind of flips a little bit, almost like pushes the car to the outside and then cuts it down, almost like you'd see a car enter turn 1 at Indianapolis.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting line, but I guess it's kind of like Talladega Nights being able to block off the whole track.
Yeah, a little bit. I'll tell you what, Rideout just not able to get down anywhere. Still side by side with Tom Wilhite. Now we have done 51, almost 52 laps on this stint. Now we're getting really close to the time where these drivers are going to have to start thinking about coming down pit road.
And based on our numbers, they're going to have to come down pit road basically between now and
Well, we'll see when they decide to come down pit lane. You will see those drivers come up on the underneath the timing tower, underneath actually the kind of session status or the race status box in the upper left-hand corner. As they come down pit road, you'll see their names pop up on the screen, and we'll be able to give you the exact time, at least to the 100th of a second anyway, for how long these final pit stops of the race are. If you only need fuel to get to the end, do you take right side tires? Because you're going to have to go not quite a full tank.
if you're a guy like Johnny Avila, you're going to have to go the full race distance on the same set of tires. I don't believe he took tires on his last stop either.
No, he didn't.
So, I don't know. I might take the right sides, or I might leave them off. It depends a lot on how the tires are feeling too. Does the car feel like the tires are getting greasy, or does it still feel hooked up?
Man, if somebody is able to not take tires on this green flag stop, that is a huge advantage if everybody else does have to take them. Following along here, Troy Hayden trying to push. Well, get pushed by Kevin Dick. Back up to these leaders. And we got one car around. It's Daniel Pinkston. That'll bring out the caution. Oh, and a huge hit for Lee Maxwell.
Well, I guess we don't have to worry about green flag stops anymore.
Sorry, that was Lee Campbell making the big contact, but that car is junked. You can see the left front not turning on the car of Daniel Pinkston.
Yeah, you can see it right there. That's supposed to be spinning. It is not.
That is a dynamite use of Telestrator there, man.
Thank you. I was just making sure the audience can see that the left front tire is in fact not spinning.
Let's take a look here. We will get everybody coming down pit lane here. We'll take a look here and see who we can find. We'll see if we can figure out what the cause of this incident was. Get it to you slowed up way down here. All right, let's back this guy up and Johnny Avila taking 4 tires. Several cars going to get off a pit lane ahead of Johnny Avila. Now let's swing on over here and see if we can't get the we'll get the replay buttons working here. Slow everything down. Just a little bit of a move by Pinkston.
Oh yeah, I just turned himself right on the nose of the 8.
Yeah, you can see it here.
Up. Oh, the 8's left side tires. He's starting to move just in that lane.
Yeah, ever so slightly.
Pinkston moves down about a lane. So.
Yeah, that's what.
2 cars going from the same piece of real estate.
Yeah, and then this was the contact that absolutely derailed the night for Daniel Pinkston. So we'll go back to picking up our race leaders. As we work the 3rd caution flag of the night. 1 to green, and nobody takes the outside lane in front of Johnny Avila. I don't know how smart that is. You basically gave the guy who's been the dominant car all night long.
Yeah, but Johnny has been an absolute rocket ship on these restarts. So if he can just clear the 24, kind of get in his head and just jump in front of him like, we got you, sucker.
You know what? I'm not even thinking that. Look who's lining up inside of row number 2. It's Tyler Seville. How many times have we seen teammates just blink the throttle ever so slightly? And that's enough to get the teammate down, and now the 2 team cars are able to go battle for the win.
That is very true. This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, in fact, let's see. Let's go on board with Tyler Seville for this restart and see if we can't hear anything going on. Not into the restart zone yet. Now green flag's going to go in the air.
Oh, Seville really big checks up backs off.
Oh, but Rideout's going to get inside.
Johnny is hung out for Rideout. Still going to have to move up and
Yeah, Richard Smith the second on the outside here too. Yes, it did. Now Johnny Avila is going to be able to get down in front of Tyler Seville. And with 22 to go, the race is on. Braden Carroll, Justin Rideout at the front. Avila already inside of Rideout to turn 1. Man, Justin Rideout could be in trouble here. Already back to the 5th position. Another car that we can't not discuss here. That number 14 UWU Esports machine of AJ Digby. Another of the Team Will Worsler racing cars. Have the ruling from race control. On that last caution flag, and it is an end-of-line penalty for that last restart to the 22 of Daniel Pinkston. Now, obviously that car is 6 laps down and pretty well junked, but
confident. He moved up maybe a quarter of a lane, but the 22 just came down so far. At the end of the day, it's a racing incident. Two cars going for the same piece of real estate. So,
Yeah, I don't know that I can call it 100% on the 22. That's for sure. But
I definitely think the ruling is there if we had to put the ball in one driver over the other. The right call was made.
are we going to see another call have to get made here shortly? Because Johnny Avila is all over the back end of Braden Carroll. Braden Carroll has been very, very good in this race. Started first, running first. The lowest he's been all night long, including the cycle of pit stops, was the 4th position. Man, great battle here as well between Tom Wilhite and Richard Smith. Digby going to move up the outside lane, try to take some of that momentum away. He slides back in line. Let's get you the side-by-side here. We'll put you the leaders in the bottom right-hand corner because we're down to 15 to go and things are fixing to get wild here at the front. And as soon as they start battling, that's when things are really going to get crazy because everybody else is just going to build that momentum and be able to catch up. Now you're talking about 2, possibly 3 wide here with just a couple of laps to go.
Yeah, this one is going to get hairy. These guys all want the race win. This is definitely a track that they can't go out and get it, so they're all going to try.
Comment from Daniel Pigston. Fun while it lasted. The 8 Senate, if it hadn't moved up the track, that caution would have been sooner. I don't disagree with that either. That's one of those things, when we talk about a racing deal, I don't know that you can blame either driver. They were doing what they had to do in the moment. You just, Paul Page said it in the Indy 500 opener for 1990. 2 cars going for a piece of real estate, too narrow for both.
Yeah, and with race control, all they can see is just the overhead and measuring it down to the amount of pixels each car has moved down. Gets called on one driver or the other. But you get your payback later on in the season.
Yes, it does. Top 4, all single file. 5 through 10 are going to be side by side. Also, right at the tail end of that, don't look now, but Richard Fletcher is there. Could we see another win out of the 43 car here this season? Got his first career win at Daytona to kick the season off. And Fletch is always good at these pack-style races or plate races. Man, these guys are starting to get antsy. 10 laps to go here at Atlanta. I guess the big question now becomes, if you're Johnny Avila, when does the move get made? I don't know that you want to make it too early unless you can get the teammates helping you out.
Yeah, if all those Will Borsler guys can get in a perfect line, and pretty much like they are, but they kind of have to all make the move together. And they're going to leave Johnny Avila out to dry.
Yeah. Oh, and there's contact. Multiple cars going to be involved. This is the big one at Atlanta.
Avila gets away scot-free. Like Days of Thunder. No damage on the car.
AJ Digby was involved, and we're still green. Digby pounds the inside wall trying to get to pit lane, but the green flag is still out with 8 laps to go.
What?
I am seeing all of this, I promise.
And they're clearly still racing. Are you telling me the only car that got wadded up in that was 14?
I'm going to show you who got wadded up here. Take a look, the instant replay down on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Out of the race lead, AJ Digby. Man, I'll tell you what, Braden Carroll made huge contact.
They all just keep going.
Yeah. They were bouncing off the wall and hitting everything hard. Oh, man, Carroll right back up. He almost turned Avila. Troy Hates now up on the outside battling for the lead. 6 to go. Oh, this race is going to be absolutely fantastic down the stretch. I did not see Troy Haight being the guy in the lead with 5 to go. I wonder if there's not some damage on that 24 car because he is just not able to shove Johnny Avila. Even Avila may have some damage as well.
Avila didn't get hit. Avila got out of there scot-free.
Wow. This is going to be intense. Kevin Dick hiding around towards the mid-pack the entire race with Andrew Moore Jr. How about those guys coming up to the high side? They want a piece of the lead. Both inside the top 5 with 4 to go this time by. One car smoking big time. That was Tim Knott down on the inside. Again, we're going to stay green. The other rule that is in play is that red and white line on the inside of the racetrack is out of bounds until the white flag lap. Avila up to the high side. Tucks right back in line. At some point here, Tyler Seville is going to have to make a move. I don't think he can do it on the white flag lap. And Johnny Avila wants to win. If he wants to win, he has to go now.
Yeah, either that or kind of fake both of them out.
Here's the move up to the high side. Seville to the race lead. Haight absolutely hung out to dry on the inside. It'll be the white flag this time by Avila all over the bumper. 1 lap to go at Atlanta. Avila and Seville nose to tail. They've got a car length. Back to third place, Braden Carroll.
Now, is he just going to push Seville to the win, or is he going to try and make something out of this coming out of turn 4?
We're about to find out. Avila slides just the tiniest bit high, trying to move the teammate ever so slightly. Avila to the high side, drag race to contact. Seville wins it. Backwards and in the fence, Tyler Seville gets the win at Atlanta. 41 thousandths of a second separating Tyler Seville, Johnny Avila. How about 88 thousandths? First to third. Oh my goodness. What a finish to this race. The Will Worsler cars are already lined up on the front straightaway, ready to absolutely decimate the number 11 of Tyler Seville when he comes around. while Tyler Seville burns down what's left of those good years. Hunter Waters, the first car to give him the shot. Let's take a look at the race results. Seville, Avila, Carroll, Richard Smith the second, Troy Haight rounding out the top 5. Great runs for those 2 cars. 6 through 10 going to be Andrew Moore Jr., Hunter Waters, Kevin Dick, Richard Fletcher, and Justin Rideout. 9 cars finishing within 1.1 seconds, a full 10 seconds back to Rideout in the 10th position. 11 through 19 tonight going to be Lee Campbell, Tom Wilhite, Tony Patton, Tim Knott, and AJ Digby. Everybody from Wilhite on down finishing 4 or more laps down. 16 to 19, excuse me. 16 to 19 tonight. Daniel Pinkston, John Moeller, J.D. Wardlow, and Will Worsler.
You dying?
I am, slightly.
You're inhaling all this smoke that they're doing on the front stretch here.
Yes, the fumes. I tell you what, if you are a race fan, that is one of the coolest things ever. When they like really burn the cars down on the front stretch, it reeks of race fuel, tires, chemicals. That smell is so disgustingly awful. It's wonderful.
It's like nitromethane. It'll choke you out. It'll make your eyes bleed, and you love every second of it.
Yes, having been around a little bit of nitro in an NHRA paddock, yes. My goodness, let's take a look here, see who we can get for our Victory Lane interviews here this evening. Let's see, we need... The only one I have left to find is Braden Carroll that I do not see available for an interview here. But let's start things off with Mr. Tyler Seville, practically Clint Boyering himself over the start-finish line. Congratulations, man. That was epic, I think is about the best word we can use.
Yeah, it was something I knew Johnny was going to put a move on me, and I didn't know when he was going to do it. And there at the end, it's do whatever you can do to get across the finish line first.
Yeah, that was, that's, I guess the best way to say it is do what you can do, because it was really watching this race develop and how these last couple of laps developed. There was contact off the backstretch. AJ Digby was involved in that. Braden Carroll was in the middle of that. I don't know how he was quick enough to finish third. But it seemed like you guys were really doing the fighting. You thought we were going to see the end of stage 1. It really came on hard at the end of the race.
Oh, yeah. AJ and I kind of decided we weren't happy riding 3rd and 4th there, and we saw that outside line starting to get some traction, and so we figured let's take our luck up there. And then everything just went crazy on the backstretch there with a 24 block, but you almost have to in a situation like that, and I just happened to hit him to the right and not square, and then all chaos broke out.
Yeah, it seems like that was the kind of one of the turning points of the race. The other big one was when you and Johnny made that move with 2 laps to go on Troy Haight. He had the lead. That car was quick towards the end of the race, but just nothing he could do once you two decided to move outside.
Oh, yeah, that's one of the things Johnny and I really practice is to be able to latch on somebody's bumper, and Johnny's one of the best at it. I think that last lap, I don't think he was up off my bumper until he was trying to pass me coming to the line. And when you get somebody that's that good and pushing you, there's really no stopping it.
Well, and there's a lot of trust involved there too, because if he had tried that pass a hair earlier, I don't know that either of you two finish, let alone come across the line in a decent position. So it's big to know that he's not going to make the move until it's really time to try to make it.
Right, yeah, that like I said, he's one of the best in the business there. I'm just lucky I was able to beat him this time. I'm glad he was able to get 2nd place.
Yeah, I tell you what, great race tonight, and the 5th different winner in 5 Sim Speed Shop Premier Series races to start the season. In fact, 5 different pole winners, it looks like, as well. What do you think? Next week, we come back to Richmond for a 175-lap race. And then we're heading off to Bristol, then the Daytona Road Course. There's a lot going on here over these next 4 weeks before we get to the off week in the middle of April. Seems like this might be where we decide who's going to be in contention for a championship.
Yeah, I think you'll probably get a repeat winner in one of those races for the first time this year. That's a great parity that we have that many winners so far this season. But yeah, I think I know I won a race here at Richmond here lately, last season or so. So definitely looking forward to getting back there.
Well, that Chubby's Pineapple was upside down going across the start-finish line, but either way, it's a win for you. Congratulations on it, and before we let you go, do all those sponsor plugs and thank yous.
Yeah, I got definitely shout out to my sponsor Chubby's. Check them out online. Shout out to Hunter and Richard. They had some struggles earlier and came back for top 10s, and then shout out to the rest of my teammates. As usual, Johnny, AJ, Will, and Daniel was running really good until he got in that accident earlier.
Yeah, the good night all around for the Will Warsler Racing team. Thank you very much for checking in with us here, Tyler. And now it's time to bring up a guy that we're looking forward to talking to. Well, we like talking to this guy every week because he's a fun interview. But Johnny Avila, what in the heck are you doing, man? You're dumping your teammate coming to the line. Oh, it helps if I unmute him.
Threw his pineapple at me and put us in the wall.
Hold on,
Okay.
start that over again. We forgot to unmute you, so no, we didn't hear it. We forgot to unmute you.
Are you serious? I'm over here just talking to myself.
Yes.
God damn. Well, I don't even know where to start. But on that last lap, I did not take Tyler out, okay? I went around him, side drafted him. The mother trucker threw a pineapple, and we collided.
He chopped your nose off. I saw it.
Yo, that chubby got bigger, and all of a sudden we were in the wall. I was minding my own.
I can't draw that on. I mean, I can. I shouldn't.
Yeah. All you do is you take Tyler's car and you add some pineapples to the side of it to show the growth.
Yes. There you go. Bizzle drawing up the circling the pineapple here on the hood of Tyler Seville's car. I'll tell you what, though, man, you really had this race locked down for the vast majority. The car was great out front all night long. All of a sudden, all hell broke loose on the backstretch, and you somehow managed to avoid it. Talk us through that one as well.
I'm sorry, I'm watching him draw the pineapple.
I was trying to circle Chubby's, but the camera's moving too fast for me.
Well, AJ and Tyler, they had a head of steam on the outside. Braden was like, not today. And apparently there's a bump on the back straightaway, so he hit the bump and got bumped by Tyler. And yeah, they got to know each other real quick.
Yeah, I tell you what, man. Great run tonight. This is, let me see. I'm going to pull up the point standings here. There we go. Well done, Bizzle. Entering tonight's race, you had a 2-point deficit to Kevin Dick. You pick up 2 sets of stage points, and obviously the points for the win as well. With Kevin finishing in 8th, you're now creating a little bit of separation here at the front of the field.
Well, that's great because he's terrifying sometimes. He doesn't go away. He keeps charging. So it's great to have great competition like that. I know I can race him hard and clean, but just because I have a little bit of separation today doesn't mean I can bank on it for the rest of the year. I got to make sure I'm on top of it.
Yeah, especially when we're coming up to Bristol, the Daytona Road Course. Talladega still on the spring schedule as well. A lot of chances for people to gain and lose piles of points here as this season rolls on. But Johnny, thank you very much for coming to hang out with us here. And before we let you go, do all those sponsor plugs and thank yous before Patrick starts drawing things that get us thrown off of YouTube.
I'd just like to, first of all, thank Patrick for his great artistry today. It was fantastic. I'd also just like to thank all of my teammates out there. I think Hunter, he had some damage, but he's still able to rebound with a nice finish of 7th. Richard Fletcher getting another top 10. It's always great to see. Um, some bad luck for some of my teammates, and good job for all of them except for Tyler. He can go eat a pineapple.
That's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. That is second place finisher tonight, Johnny Avila. Let's bring up our third place finisher, Braden Carroll. And man, I'll tell you what, that car was up at the front all night long. You were in the wreck. We can see the damage now up on the right front side of your race car. How in the world were you still quick enough to finish third tonight?
I really couldn't tell you. My wheel was about a good 15 degrees to the right. I was really struggling to go down the front stretch in one piece, I'll tell you that. I don't know. I thought I was just going to drop like a rock, but I got some good pushes and was able to stay up with the leader, Johnny, so that helped out.
Yeah, and then these two guys decide they're going to start getting handsy with each other off of turn number 4. Did you see a hole that go, I got this. If they hit hard enough, this win's going to be mine?
I just go where they're not. I mean, it's kind of hard to predict where these cars are going to go sometimes. They did hit eventually, but it was just too late in the end.
All in all, a really good night for you. Congratulations on picking up a first podium. No, maybe not, because I haven't gone back through the history in a little while. I don't know how many races you've run with these guys, but good podium this season and tonight. Congratulations on that. Before we let you go, get all the sponsor plugs and thank yous in on the that beautiful number 24 machine.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this was my first race. I just thank Johnny Avila for getting me involved with this nice group of people. Sam Maxwell for putting on a good show, hosting a great league. It was really fun to participate in. Everybody who showed up, everybody was clean from what I saw. The only bad move might have been mine, but all in all, I think it was just a fantastic race.
Yeah, a good race all the way around. Moonlight Speed, Money Shift Media. I almost called it something else on the hood of that car. Congratulations on the podium tonight, Braden.
When I go from second to third.
Yes. Money Shift Media is the sponsor on the hood of that number 24 machine. Man, I'll tell you what, Patrick, this was wild, I think, is the only word that I can come up with for what we saw here tonight.
Phenomenal.
Yes. Just great racing all the way around. And we're going to see more of it in a different variety because Richmond is always a tough place. We usually see an above average number of cautions from a league that, quite frankly, just doesn't have them all that often. When we go to Richmond, that really could be anyone's race.
Yeah, Richmond is a tough one. We've seen in the past here with these cars how loose Richmond is. It's definitely a driver's track. You're going to see some of the more familiar names at the top of the field, but you might see some new guys too who we haven't seen at these super loose racetracks yet. Maybe dirt track guys coming up through the field and possibly taking home the checkers.
Yeah, this was a fun one. Next week's going to be good. Tomorrow, how about 4? Count them. 4 big races coming up on the National Racing Network. Starting at 3 p.m., the Lotus 49s visiting the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And then we will have the Classic Lotus GP from Watkins Glen International. The Classic boot, so no bus stop with the boot. I can't wait to watch the 79s around there. And then we have U.S. Open Wheel C and D class racing. It's Oval Week. We're heading off to USA International. Those cars are a handful. I was driving them earlier today as well. The Indy Pro 2000 cars are tough to get quickly around USA International. You're going to see the best in the business.
Favorites.
Yeah.
That car track combo is incredible.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to drive this afternoon. And then coming up on Friday, Camel GT Happy Hour. That's Camel with a K. Coming to you from the Circuito de Jerez. Our first visit to Spain. I am excited for that one as well. And then Saturday, Sunday, you'll see the post go up here tomorrow. It will be the Spec Corvette Series here, real world racing on the National Racing Network as well. You don't want to miss any of that. But with that, time for Patrick and I to get the heck on out of here. It's been a fun night tonight. For Bizzle and everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, everybody. We will talk to you all soon. See you later.